Welcome to Rich Tribe. Today, we are going to break down one of the most popular and, honestly, most effective ways to get a handle on your money, the 50-30-20 method. It's all about swapping out that financial stress for some real clarity. So let me ask you something. Do you ever buy something, could be anything, big or small, and then that little voice in your head kicks in, that feeling of guilt? That, should I have really spent that money? Yeah, that's a super common feeling when you don't have a clear plan for your cash. And that really gets to the biggest myth about budgeting. So many of us think it means you can't have any fun, that it's all about restriction. But it's not. The whole point is to ditch that guilt and confusion and replace it with the confidence that comes from knowing exactly where your money is going.
So, how do we get there? Well, think of this as your financial roadmap. The 50-30-20 rule is just a super simple way to organize all of your money into 3 basic buckets. That's it.
So here's the official breakdown. It's a guideline that divides your money up, but, and this is the most important part, it's based on your after-tax income. We're talking about your take-home pay, the actual dollars that land in your bank account, not your big gross salary number. That's a key distinction.
All right, let's dive into the first and biggest piece of the pie, your needs. The goal here is to have this category take up about half, or 50% of your take-home pay. So what exactly counts as a need? Well, these are the big ones, the absolute must-haves you can't function without. We're talking rent or mortgage, your light bill, groceries, insurance, and those minimum payments you have to make on any loans or credit cards.
But this is where it gets a little tricky, right? People always ask about things that feel like they're in a gray area, like, what about my phone bill or my internet? I mean, you can't really get by without those today, so where do they fit in?
The best rule of thumb is pretty simple. If you honestly can't do your job or live your life without it, it's a need. So yeah, a basic phone plan and internet access, for most of us, that's a need. But that shiny new iPhone that just came out, the upgrade itself, well, that's probably tipping over into the want category.
Okay, let's move on to the next slice, the 30% for wants. And let's be real, this is the part of the budget that makes it feel less like a chore and actually sustainable. It's the fun stuff.
Wants are basically everything else, all the things you choose to spend money on that make life more enjoyable but aren't, essential for survival. This is a perfect way to see it. Buying groceries is a need. Going out for a fancy dinner is a want.
This bucket covers everything from your streaming subscriptions and hobbies to going out with friends or shopping for clothes you don't absolutely need. This is also where you have the most flexibility. If money gets tight one month, this is the first place you can look to scale back without too much pain. And that brings us to the final, and I'd argue the most important part of the whole plan, the 20% that you use to build your future. This is where you really start making progress. This is you paying yourself first. This 20% isn't just leftover cash. No, it has very specific and powerful jobs. It's for building up an emergency fund, saving for retirement, putting money aside for big goals like a down payment, and this one's huge, making extra payments on your debt to get rid of it faster. Speaking of that emergency fund, how much should you actually have? Well, the general rule of thumb is to aim for enough cash to cover 3 to 6 months of your essential living expenses. This is your safety net, the thing that keeps a car repair or a job loss from becoming a total financial disaster.
Okay, let's put some real numbers to this. Imagine your take-home pay is $4,000 a month. Using the rule, that means you'd have $2,000 for your needs, things like rent and groceries. You'd have $1,200 for wants, like dining out and hobbies, and that leaves you with a solid $800 for your savings and goals. This is just an example, of course, but you can see how the percentages give you a clear target to aim for.
Now, making a plan on paper is one thing, but sticking to it when life throws you a curveball, that's the real challenge. So let's talk about how to make this actually work in the real world. It's really easy to stumble right out of the gate. A few common mistakes are making your budget way too strict, cutting out all the fun, which just isn't sustainable. Another big one is forgetting about expenses that don't happen every month, like birthday gifts or that annual car registration. And the worst one, having one bad month, feeling like a failure, and just giving up entirely. And that brings me to maybe the most important takeaway of all. A budget isn't something you set in stone and then forget about. It's a living, breathing document. You've got to check in with it every month. Did your electric bill go up? Did you get a raise? You have to adjust the plan to match what's actually happening in your life. And listen, when you overspend, and trust me, you will overspend at some point, don't beat yourself up, don't see it as a failure. See it as data. The process is simple.
Step 1, don't panic. Step 2, figure out why it happened. Was it a true emergency or just an impulse buy? And then step 3, use what you learned to make a better plan for next month. It's a learning curve, not a pass-fail test. So to wrap things up, the 50-30-20 rule isn't about being perfect. It's just about awareness and making progress. When every dollar you earn has a job, you're the one in control. And hey, if you're finding this useful, do us a favor and subscribe to the Rich Tribe channel and be sure to like, comment, and share.
I want to leave you with this thought right here. This whole process, this whole idea of tracking your money, it's not about taking the joy out of your life. It's about taking the uncertainty out. When you know your bills are covered and your goals are being funded, you can spend on the things you love, completely guilt-free. And that really leads to one last question for you to think about. A budget is so much more than just math. It's a tool that shows you what you actually value. So once you have it all laid out, take a look and ask yourself, does where my money is going truly line up with what's most important to me? The answer just might surprise you.